Beautiful souls, welcome to another live stream, a psychic party hosted by yours truly. My name is Nicole Guillaume. Today is Thursday, June 5th, 11 a.m. Pacific time. So if you are watching after that date, after that time, you are watching the recording. However, you are more than welcome to, of course, watch the recording. Please do not let that deter you, because it is not uncommon for me to give messages here and for someone to watch the recording and say, hey, you know what? I think that's for me. That really resonated with me. So before we get started with the readings, I did want to go over the house rules as usual. So first of all, do want to say thank you and welcome to everyone who's joining me right now for the live stream. Please remember that I will get to as many readings as possible. And while your super chats and stickers and stars are appreciated, they do not guarantee a reading. One of the reasons for that being that I don't always see them when they show up on this platform, because I actually use a third party website in order to be able to broadcast live both on YouTube and Facebook simultaneously. So that's how that goes. And remember, if you want a reading with me, the best way to get one from me guaranteed is to go to my website at guidingechoes.com. I am currently working on a new site and updating it, so please excuse the mess. If anything doesn't work there, just be patient. Let me know, because it is getting fixed. So hopefully the new site will be up in a couple of days. So when I was getting ready to come on here today, and I was just kind of spending time with spirit, I did receive a channeled message. And that message was about doing kind things for people who might be feeling marginalized or scared right now. And that can be as simple as sending a letter to someone, whether it is a stranger or a friend. It could be volunteering for a nonprofit organization. But I believe that with everything that is happening in the world and with the climate that we are seeing politically within the United States, there is a lot of unrest right now, and for good reason. A lot of people are scared. We don't know what's going to happen next. It has just been one of the most unstable things I think most of us have experienced since the pandemic. So there are a lot of people who are afraid of many different reasons. And if we're honest, we can say that their fear is validated. And so instead of ignoring the problem and just going on with our lives and pretending that this doesn't affect us, and maybe a lot of things don't affect you, a lot of things right now, whether or not they affect me, are in the balance, but my heart goes out to the people who are affected. And my plea to you is to figure out ways that you can be a part of the solution, even just in very, very small ways. There is some talk about certain programs being cut, and these are programs that in the United States many people rely on. And so we as individuals and as communities need to find a way to step up so that we can help people who are less fortunate than us. So maybe that means that we donate to food banks, or we find different ways that we can just get involved in our communities and find different ways we can help the elderly and things like that. So just think about that today. Again, it doesn't have to be anything huge. It can be as simple as just letting people know that you're there for them, or sending a letter of encouragement, sending $20 to a foundation that you believe in, things like that. So I feel like in an environment where we're really seeing people behave in ways that are not congruent with who we want to be, and incongruent with who we want to be, even as a nation, it's time for us to step up and be the change we want to see and be the leaders that we want to see. We need to start modeling that, and it's so important. So just think about that. What are some ways that you can contribute positively to your communities this week, and even outside of your communities, right? How can we reach other communities just with kindness and no ulterior motive, just kindness and love and compassion, right? So that was on my heart earlier today, and I feel like that was part of the message that Spirit asked me to provide with you today. So, all right. So let's go ahead and get started with readings. The cards that I have for us today are the Psychic Tarot Oracle deck by John Holland. It's an old one, but goodie. And of course, Everyday Witch, because I either have this one or the Wizard's Tarot or the Witch's Tarot or the Steampunk Tarot, because those are my favorites. So go ahead and hit me up with your questions in the chat. And if you know of anyone who would like to join us for these readings today, please remember to share this link and invite them on over. And yeah, you can join me on Facebook or on YouTube today. So we have a smaller audience today. I have noticed that, but it's all good because I forgot to send out the email reminder to everyone. So, that's where my head's been lately. I did also want to tell you guys about a personal change in my life, if that's okay. And the reason I want to tell you guys about it is because maybe it'll help someone. So I've been pretty open over the past few years about my battle with depression. And last year, I was diagnosed with ADHD. And yes, ADHD is a real disorder. And I didn't fully understand what ADHD really was until a few years ago when a friend of mine was telling me about how his daughter had ADHD. And he told me about some of the different behaviors that she had and different ways that she behaved. And I thought that sounds really familiar. Like some of these sound like me when I was a kid. And he had undiagnosed ADHD as well. And he told me about some of his symptoms. And I was like, I wonder. And at the time, I had another friend who was diagnosed. And so during this one short season in my life, there was just all of these interesting experiences and testimonies and information coming up around me regarding ADHD. And the more I looked into it, the more I recognized many of these traits within myself. So I took action. I ended up seeking professional counsel from mental health professionals. And last year, I did get the diagnosis for ADHD, and I have been working with a psychologist, a psychiatrist, and different people in the mental health field to get more clarity on that. What's interesting about ADHD is it's not just one test. They put you through several different things to see if this is in fact a disorder that you have. And I have it. And so the reason that I'm telling you about this is because I was recently put on medication for it, and it has been life-changing. It has absolutely been life-changing. And knowing that I haven't been broken per se, but my brain is just wired differently, has been such an eye-opener and such a game changer. The reason I want to tell you briefly about this journey is because my life has changed dramatically since I've been on the medication. I didn't realize how much my brain was miswired for things like executive function, which means basically just being able to function. People with ADHD often have a lot of trouble with simple things throughout the day, like doing the laundry, or they'll do the laundry and they won't put it away, which was my crux. Like I would do the laundry. I love doing laundry, but I hate putting it away for some reason. And we're overwhelmed with all these different thoughts at once, intrusive thoughts. It's hard to focus. There's so many things, and this disorder doesn't affect just one area of your life. It affects all of them. And if you go through something traumatic, which I did, and you have PTSD on top of your ADHD, that is really hard to handle. And I know that in self-help fields, and especially in spiritual community, there isn't exactly a stigma around medication anymore. I mean, there kind of is, but there is this belief that if you meditate, or if you pray, or if you have a close relationship with spirit, that those should be enough to suffice you, right? Like if you're eating the right foods and you're doing this and doing that. And so I did notice when I was on low carb diets, which I'm on again now, that my depression was not as prevalent. And years ago, I noticed that my ability to focus was better, that my energy was better. Like all these things did change. but I didn't know I had ADHD. So I didn't know I was following protocols that help with ADHD. So now that I am on medication, I want you to know that this has not affected my psychic abilities or intuition in any negative way. In fact, I would say that it's helped tremendously because I can focus better. I can meditate and stay in that meditative state easier. I can get into meditation easier. It has been game changing. So if you are someone who knows that you battle some type of mental illness or emotional struggles or whatever it may be for you, because we're each different, I would highly encourage you to start looking into receiving help. And I know that the different things that we hear about medication can be scary because there are side effects and there are a portion of the population which medication will not work. So there's genetic testing that you can do for that. There's safeguards against that. But it is one of the best things that I ever did for myself, and so I just wanted to come on here and let you guys know that it is worth looking into. Like I said, it's changed my life. I've been able to be more productive. I can life now. I can get through life. And I've been on this medication for 2 weeks now. I didn't know it was possible to feel as good. I had no idea it was possible to feel this focused and this regulated all day long. So it turns out I didn't need therapy. I needed medication. So, anyways, just something I wanted to share with you in case it's something that you're struggling with. At some point, I'll probably make a separate video about it. But, anyways, okay. So, Tiara says, I've been feeling really discouraged lately in my career, and I was wondering what my guides have to say. Am I on the right path career wise? I think that you are, Tiara. I'll still shuffle the cards. But what I'm getting is that this is a rough patch. I feel like within a few months, it's 11:11, at least in my time zone. I feel like within a few months, you're going to feel much better. Hi, Gina. Gina says, so happy for you. Thank you for sharing that. My pleasure, babe. But yeah, Tara, I feel like within a few months, things are going to turn around and you're going to feel better about your career path and better about your employment and where you work and all of those things. Are you, I know you said you're feeling discouraged lately in your career. Are you currently working? Are you looking for something different? Like what's going on there? Because in 6 months, I feel this changing dramatically for you and being a really positive experience. So I would say hang in there. Try not to give up. Good things are coming. You're just going through a rough patch right now, so things will open up for you. I don't know if it's a new opportunity exactly, but I do see some type of change around you, but I also see an inner change as well. So this might be, you know how sometimes you just get that information and it clicks and you have that aha moment, it kind of makes things better. It might be something along those lines for you. Let's see. Sorry, nose itched a little bit there. Okay, so Teriyaki Sarah says, as a medicated girly, I noticed the meds do slightly impact my psychic abilities, but it's better than my whole body staying in a perpetual state of panic. Yes, absolutely. You know, I had a friend who passed away recently, and my mediumship abilities are hit and miss. They've been that way for a while now, unfortunately. Some days they're on and they're lit, other days not so much. Um and what was interesting was like after my friend passed away, or after I got word of him passing away, he came through so strongly to me in a way where I did not doubt that it was him. And we had a long conversation. And I will say that I saw him stronger in my mind's eye than I think I've ever seen anyone. And that was after being on the appropriate medication for for my ADHD. So I've noticed positive changes. And again, I haven't been on it that long, so we'll see if it starts to affect other areas or not. But so far so good. Okay, let's see. We also have Nettie. Hi, will I get an affordable apartment within the next 3 months, please? I don't know if it's going to be within 3 months, but I do think you'll get an affordable apartment. Let me I actually never pulled cards for for oh gosh, what was your name? Sorry. for Tiara, did I? But Tiara, I do think you're on the right path. I do think you're on the right path. So, Nettie, I'm not getting that time frame. I'm not getting that you're going to have it within the next 3 months. There might be some type of a delay there. So you might end up having to stay with someone else maybe for a little bit. I've got spread your wings that came up in reverse though. So let me see. I would say make other plans, nurture in reverse. I would say, look, try to make other plans. If you need something else, manifest. Okay, so it is manifesting for you. So we had spread your wings in reverse, which tells me there's that little bit of being stuck. Nurture, or was it nature? Nurture in reverse, but we also have manifest. So you are manifesting an affordable apartment. It is on its way. It just might not show up within the time frame that you want. And the good news is that when we get readings like this and it tells us this thing's not going to happen, that just means that the current trajectory we're on is not providing us or not getting us to where we need to go. So what we can do with that is start asking, are there other avenues that we haven't looked into yet? Can we involve our friends more? Are there other resources? And sometimes there isn't. Like, let's be honest, sometimes we've done everything that we know how to do. But if there is something else that we can do to take action, sometimes it's just those smaller things that create the doors and get us into, the affordable apartment we need in the time frame that we want. So yeah, let's see here. Tiara says, I'm working right now, but I want to go back to school, and I haven't. But I've been having some financial issues. Okay. Yeah. I would say again, just hang in there. I don't know about going back to school. Let's see. That might happen more towards the fall. That's probably the time frame you're looking at. So it's possible that there's an opportunity for it. I'm just trying to figure out, because it does feel like there's a lot of things happening. It does feel like there's just a lot of change that happens around you in a few months, but it does feel mostly positive. So I would say just try not to overthink it, which I know is easier said than done. Try not to overthink it. Take those slow movements forward, do what you can, continue to believe in yourself. And I do feel like this career path is going to open in positive ways for you. Sometimes things just don't work out in the timing that we want, and that might be part of the frustration that you're dealing with right now. So yeah, just hang in there. That's the best advice I can give. And I know I hate it when people say that to me too. So I try not to say that to other people, but sometimes it's the only advice I have. So you're not on the wrong career path. You are on the right path. Things are difficult right now. They will at some point get better, but you're in that messy middle right now. You're not in the beginning and you're not at the end. You're in the messy middle. But eventually you'll be out of that. You just got to kind of give it more space and time. All right. Smiling says, smiling is contagious. Hello, I'm glad to catch you live. I would love to know where to focus to give my intuition a jump start. That's a really good question. So for those of you who don't know, I actually do run a psychic development group. It's a membership. It's $29 a month. In fact, we meet Thursdays, which means we're meeting today at 6 p.m. Pacific time. And we get together, and it's just a group of us. We get on a Google Meet call, and I walk people through different exercises and methods. And it is a safe space to practice your intuition and your gifts. So, Smiling, when you're asking where is the best place to focus to give your intuition a jump start, it really depends on what you're wanting to use your intuition for. So are you wanting to because your intuition is really the voice of your soul, right? So it's how your soul, it's how your spirit speaks to you. It is basically how you interpret the energies that are all around you. So if you're wanting to learn how to just amp up the volume to that, then one of the things that you can do is just simple meditations. Guided meditations are great with that because guided meditations do help you to expand all of your clairs. So your clairvoyance, your claircognizance, your clairaudience, because within guided meditations, you are using your mind to visualize these beautiful scenes and interactions. And so that's a really good way to continue to boost that. If you are someone who has a hard time visualizing, one of the things that I recommend doing is just grabbing any object in front of you. So, let's say we'll use this for example, just this bottle of a magical lotion that a friend gave me. So you would take a look at this and you would just look at it for a few moments and then you close your eyes and you visualize it and you try to imagine it with as much depth and details as you can, and then you open your eyes and see how much of it that you got right. Because the more that you do things like that, the more you expand your ability to see things within your mind's eye and to hear things within your mind, the stronger your clairs get. So I would say so meditation is definitely a part of it, and stream of consciousness journaling is great, which is just another way of saying channeling. But people can get intimidated when I tell them to journal and to channel. So basically, with that, you're just taking a nice big breath in. You're grabbing your writing apparatus, whether that is your iPad and an eye pencil, or it is good old fashioned journal, pen, or pencil. And you just take a deep breath and you just start writing. And you don't try to force anything, you just write. And that can be a really nice way to connect with spirit, or even to your higher self or your own subconscious mind, and just start writing down. And you can start with a prompt if you want to. You can say, what do I need to know today? Or what's going to happen 6 months from now? Where's my career heading? So you can ask actual questions, tune in, and then just start writing. And if you don't get anything, if you're writing and you notice nothing pops up when you ask a question, you can just start drawing. Just grab your pen and paper and just move your hands in funky ways and whatever you want to do, and take a look at the scribbles and just focus on them and see if any type of information intuitively pops up. That's another exercise that we practice in our psychic development group a few months ago, and everyone who did that got some really strong information. So that's a really good practice to get into. So oh, Gina, thank you very much. 1111, love it. All right. Should I pursue doing tarot readings for people primarily instead of intuitive readings? I want to do the psychic readings, but having getting signs to focus on tarot. So I do think that focusing on tarot is fantastic for you right now, because tarot can relieve some of the pressure. Because when you look at the cards have a way of telling a story. Cards have a way of showing us the layers of a situation. And when we're able to explain a card to someone or show a card to someone, there's something in that can be validating for them and easier for us. So I do think that sometimes cards and tools can do the heavy lifting for us, and there's nothing wrong with that. Accept the help however you can. And it's also just a different way of communicating. So I would say that if you are feeling guided towards doing tarot readings as opposed to purely intuitive, because tarot readings are intuitive too, then go with that for a while. You'll probably find on your journey that it continues to swing. It's like a pendulum, right? It swings. So you'll go through a season where it's like tarot just feels great. That is your love language, so to speak. Like, it just works really well with your intuition. And then you'll swing to the opposite, where it feels like tarot's not really doing it for you anymore, but your intuitive readings are just lit and on fire, and you don't really want to do tarot anymore because you may feel like it doesn't really get to the heart of the matter anymore. So just go with whatever feels right to you. So if tarot is what you want to focus on now, I think that you should listen to that. And I think that could be great for you. Okay. Smiling is contagious says, I am thinking using it for a career doing intuitive work. That answer was amazing. Thank you. You're very, very welcome. And then Gina's saying, Nicole's psychic development circle is awesome. Everyone is so supportive. They are. They are very supportive. It's a great group of people. Okay, so let's see. Denise says, "Hi Nicole, my family and I are buying a home this year. Oh, that's exciting. And trying to decide to buy the home we're currently renting, or should we look for something new? Any guidance, please?" That is a good question. And so we are going to use Everyday Tarot. Let's go ahead and shuffle some cards. All right. So this is an either or. Should you buy the home that you're currently renting or look for something new? My gut is saying stay where you are. However, I also have this feeling that once you guys do that, another option pops up. All right, let's look into that. It feels like how long are you guys willing to wait? Because I feel like there's the potential for another house that pops up that's pretty much what you want, but I don't think it ends up being available this year. It feels like it's available next year. And it's almost one of those things where, you purchase this house and you make all the plans and you do all the things. And then this other house becomes available next year. And you're like, oh man, if we had just waited, we could have gotten this one instead. But let's see. One more shuffle ought to do it. This house, or should they keep looking? So, okay, so I feel like your cards are telling you to stay put. You're going to continue to look, and so there's nothing wrong with continuing to look. The Fool is about new beginnings, new journeys, checking things out, but also the Fool is kind of naive because they've never been on that journey before. I'm not saying that's your situation, but that's how it is in this card. And the challenge with walking into a new home is that you really don't know what to expect, right? So you don't know if you're going to get good neighbors. You don't know how well the house was maintained. If it is a brand new construction, you don't know how well the house was actually built. You don't know if you had lazy construction workers, and I'm not saying construction workers are lazy. However, I will say that I worked in the mortgage side for a well-known builder years ago, and builders will cut corners. Even when people pay for more expensive upgrades, they don't always get what they pay for. So I can tell you that. And when you are in a space that you're already familiar with, you already know what to do, right? You know what to expect out of most of it. Next card I have is the High Priestess. And then, which is funny because this is what we're doing right now, but then we also have the Queen of Swords. So the reason I feel like your cards are recommending that you stay is because in both of these cards, there's no movement. They are staying still. So we've got the Queen of Swords, and she knows how to take care of business. She knows the ins and outs of where she lives. She knows her palace pretty well, I would imagine. And then I would say that the High Priestess shows that you're relatively comfortable where you are. So I do feel like staying and buying the home that you're in would probably be the best choice for you. But of course, you should always check out other options. Yeah, so that's the feeling that I'm getting. Again, I don't know if you absolutely need to buy a home this year, if you're willing to wait till next year, because it does feel like next year something opens up that is in the price range that you want and or that you can afford. It might not be exactly the price range you want, but it feels like it has the things that you want, the things that you're looking for that this house may not have right now. So yeah, I hope that helps. So hi Cruz. Cruz says, "Hi Nicole, hope you're well." I'm doing good, thank you. Let's see. Denise says, "Well, we have to decide in the next few months if we want the house we're currently living in." I would say go for it. Based on your cards, I would say go for it. Yeah, absolutely. If you need to decide now, if there's pressure, go for it. Unless you want to rent somewhere else for a bit, but moving is such a Moving is such a hassle, isn't it? So, okay. Let's see. Cooper, I want to say thank you for helping me heal on my journey I've watched for many years, but 5 years ago I lost my husband and you helped me through so much with that and through the years. Thank you. Aw, Cooper, thank you for that. Well, I hope that you're doing better now. I know that that type of grief can be rough. There's just certain griefs that we never heal from completely, and we just kind of learn how to move on through them, right? So but thank you for that message. It's beautiful. I'm really glad I was able to be there and to help you out. So okay, Cena, am I saying that right? Cena Chandler. Hi, Nicole. I think I'm going through an awakening. Oh, those are fun. But I feel very scared. Weird dreams. I'm giggling because I had a really weird dream last night. I'll share it with you guys later if you want to hear it. Can you shed some light on what the heck is going on? Thank you so much. So, when your intuition begins to open up, you are most susceptible in your dreams because your conscious mind shuts down, right? And your subconscious mind and your energy is able to expand. And so the energies that are around you are energies that are just kind of looking to chat with someone. It's easier for them to come in and to connect with you through your consciousness. And so I do think that this is a sign that your intuition is lighting up and that you are becoming a signal. And it's kind of like if you have a bonfire, right? If you have a bonfire out on the beach, that attracts a lot of different people, but it can also attract a lot of different bugs, and that's not necessarily a good thing or a bad thing. It's just a thing, right? I think that a lot of times people believe that when their abilities are opening up, that they're attracting only the good or only the bad, and that's not true. You're going to attract both, really, because again, you're this light, you're this bonfire on the beach, and so spirits and energies are like, "Hey, what's that over there? Should we check it out? Do they got s'mores?" So it just attracts a lot of different energies. And if you are wanting to protect yourself from that, then one of the things that you can do is connect with your team of angels. If you believe in angels or if you believe in God, whatever source you believe in that makes you feel protected, connect and pray to them and ask them to guard you and watch over you while you sleep so that those less than positive energies come through. So, a lot of people like to pray to or talk to Archangel Michael. He's known for being pretty protective. And so, one of the things that you can do to call in his energy is not just ask him to stand by you and to protect you, but you can also imagine that there's this electric blue light all around you. That's kind of his signature color. And as you drift off to sleep, you can feel and know that you are protected. So I feel like that's what's going on. You know, you're becoming this lighthouse, and it's bringing in the attention. It's calling in the ships and the boats, but it's calling in all of them, not just the good ones. So when you go through a spiritual awakening, I do think it's really important to find different things that help you to feel grounded during the day as well, because when you're going through a spiritual awakening, you can feel bombarded, of course, during the day too, especially if you're taking on a lot of energy. You might start to feel more overwhelmed. You might start to feel fatigued. There are a lot of physical symptoms that people experience during a spiritual awakening because those energies are so different. And so during a spiritual awakening, your energy is vibrating faster, it's becoming brighter, and your body gets exhausted. You know, you might end up with headaches and these physical symptoms because energy moves quicker than physical reality does. And so, as your energy is widening and expanding and learning and growing, your physical self is trying to keep up with that. and it may not be able to. So you get tired, fatigued against headaches. You might be getting ringing in the ears, all that sort of stuff. And then you could go to the doctor, and the doctor's like, "You're fine. Everything's fine. Like there's nothing wrong with you." But of course, always go to the doctor. Always get a clean bill of health if you do suspect that if you are going through physical um, symptoms of anything. We always want to make sure that we rule that out first. Um, so yeah, so I hope that helps. And when we talk about grounding, that's just finding different ways that you can pull your energy back into the now, right? And just stay centered. Let's see. Lost Cooper, I still haven't, but I'm learning to just know that he's there with me. Oh, he's always with you. Yeah, absolutely. He's always there with you. In fact, do you have like a set of oracle cards or something you've been using to connect with him? Because I just got the sensation of him standing near you, and I feel like I feel like you're working with oracle cards or something. If that's not something that you're using, you may want to consider it. But it does look like there's some form of way that he communicates with you that's outside of the typical signs and dreams and intuition. It does feel like there's something else he's maybe been showing you. um yeah, yeah, I feel like there's a physical form of communication that happens between the two of you as well. So physical but mystical. So it's why I was seeing oracle cards, I think. But yeah, let's see. Kim says, "Hi, my birthday is June 7th. Happy birthday, Kim. May I have a card questioning towards a new opportunity?" Sure. Let's go ahead and move over to the Psychic Tarot of the Heart Oracle. Whoops. All right. I'm having some problems getting this situated. I would like to call this a technical difficulty, but it's actually just a user error. Okay. So Kim would like to know about a new opportunity. Are we asking how this is going to pan out? Are you getting a new opportunity? Let's see. Oh, we have Believe and Succeed that just came out for you. We got a couple that came out. Open Up came out for you as well. So I would say this is all looking pretty good. And then we have Master. So pretty interesting. The Master card's kind of interesting. I'm not really sure what to make of that one. He's got his heart in what appears to be I want to say a jail cell. I feel like this is about mastering your emotions around something. So this might be saying don't, and I don't think this is necessarily about the opportunity you're asking about, but this might be saying try not to behave impulsively. Not saying that you do that, but sometimes something can pop up in our life and maybe we feel like we have to take action now, and we might need to just kind of pull those emotions back a little bit and really take a deeper look at things. I don't know if this is in regards to the opportunity you're asking about or if this is in regards to something or someone else. But yeah, interesting card for you to come up for you. But as far as the opportunity goes, Believe and Succeed, Open Up. I would say these look pretty good. So I would say there's definitely a good opportunity popping up for you. And yeah, there's probably more than one actually. And I like the Believe and Succeed because if you're having like issues with imposter syndrome or something like that, I feel like this is saying it's safe for you to put those fears aside. Believe and you will succeed. So believe in yourself. So yeah, but happy birthday. I hope you have something fun planned. And so let's see, the 7th. So that would be Saturday, right? That's nice when your birthday falls on a Saturday. You can celebrate with people. Yeah. Get all these people wishing you happy birthday. All right. Let's see. Next up, Naveen says, I am always getting X mobile time is 11:11 or 11:21. Matches my battery like 11:21:31. I mean, is both time and battery numbers match? Like, what's happening spiritually? Okay, well, 11:11 is typically about manifesting. So there's two different ways to look at that. But the one that I'm tuning into for you is I feel like it's asking you to be aware of your thoughts. Like, what is your thought pattern like? What are you thinking about most of the time? Because it's letting you know that y- things are about to manifest for you quickly. And the challenge is that sometimes we're not ready for our manifestations. We think we are, but we're not. And it could look like this. Maybe you get a job opportunity, because people are asking about jobs and opportunities lately. So that's what's fresh in my head right now. So it could come in the form of, like, let's say there's a certain career path that you want to go down. And so you're thinking about it and you really want this thing and you've been going after. However, the thoughts in your mind are kind of negative, and maybe you're not sure you can handle that type of responsibility, or your thoughts are in alignment with something else right now. Maybe you're very involved with your kids or a friend, or there's something going on there. And so none of those are bad, of course, it's just how life goes. And so these numbers are asking you to pay attention to the thoughts and what you're telling yourself before this new thing comes in. Because it just wants you to be ready for this new thing when it comes in. So ask yourself, how do you talk to yourself? Are you nice to yourself? Are you your best cheerleader? Would you be ready for this thing when it comes in? Because this is usually an indication of a big change that's coming, and usually pretty positive. Like when you start to see a lot of angel numbers, it's usually a big positive change. So I would say just start looking at that. And then also, with certain synchronicities that you're getting, it does feel like there's another synchronicity that pops up. I don't know that it's numbers exactly, and it almost feels like it's more of a, I don't want to say a warning. Hold on, I'm trying to tune into what this is. So, for example, I'm going to use this as an example. It may not make any sense, but we're just going to go with it. For example, let's say that you notice that the alarm goes off in your house, right? Nothing triggered it, but it just went off. Kind of weird, right? And then the next day you're going for a walk and a car alarm goes off. Again, kind of weird, right? Especially since nothing really seems to be going on. But maybe there's someone that you were with both of those days, and this person was in your house when the alarm went off, and then they were walking with you when that car alarm went off. So when things like that happen around a specific person or even a specific thought, that can be a warning that that particular person isn't very good, or this action you're thinking of doing may not be in your best interest. It's why the universe or your guides or your angels are sending this alarm to disrupt that signal. So you stop thinking about this thing, so you don't attract that, so you don't obsess with that thing. So those are the two things that I'm picking up for you. So I would say, again, just pay attention to the synchronicities that are outside the numbers, because there's something happening there that they're asking you to pay attention to. And then when it comes to the numbers, just stop and ask yourself, what was I thinking about right now? Like, what was on my mind? How was I talking to myself? What was the tone? And that's going to give you an idea of just how to align your thoughts better with whatever is starting to come in. So yeah, I hope that makes sense. All righty. Let's see. Naveen says, I'm in a job break, completion, and new beginnings. I'm procrastinating jobs. I'm not ready. It's right and makes sense. Any tarot. So when it comes to procrastinating on jobs, let's dive into that a little bit. Remember, I'm not a therapist. I'm not a mental health professional. I'm none of those things. But what I have learned in my own life and just in observing other people is that procrastination is rarely ever just about procrastination. It is usually about feeling burnt out. It is about feeling exhausted. It's about having a mental overload and not really knowing how to move forward. It is about the overwhelm with a job, because job search nowadays are no joke. You have to tailor your resume to each job, and it is a nightmare. I know, because I've been going through that too. It's there's something else there. So then the question becomes, what's underneath it? What's underneath the procrastinating on looking for a job? Is it that it's too overwhelming? Is it that you really don't want to work? Is it that you're tired of the industry that you're in? There is something inside of you that is speaking to you. So I don't believe that you're just procrastinating on jobs. I think that you are ready for something different, and you just don't know what that different thing completely looks like. And if you do have a little bit of an idea, you might be afraid to follow it. Have you been thinking about moving, moving locations, like a physical move? So not just a job change and a job break. Are you thinking about maybe moving to a new city or a state? The reason I'm asking you that is because in my mind's eye, all of a sudden I saw this landscape, and it was gorgeous. And I saw all these flowers, and it looks like a fountain and a garden, and it was just beautiful. And I just got this sensation of something new, and it felt like a new land, like a new place where you were. So within this, there could be a message that it's not just a new job that you need, it could be a completely new environment. And maybe that feels big and overwhelming, but it might be something to look into. So I feel like part of the message here is about asking yourself, what type of environment, what type of life would make you really happy? And what kind of work would make you excited to get out of bed? Like, what would make you wake up and say, I get to do this thing instead of, I gotta go to work again? What would fuel your soul? What would help you there? So I do think that there are big and fantastic opportunities that want to open up for you. And I think it might be one of the reasons why your energy feels off, and why you might be feeling as if different doors are closing for you. Because I do feel like I don't know if you've gotten job offers exactly, but there might be interviews or certain things that you're looking forward to, and it just feels like the door keeps closing. And that's being done on purpose because they're not a right fit. So I would start really thinking about what it is that you want to do, what type of lifestyle you want to have. Um, let's see. So she says, no, I'm getting other city jobs, but I can't since my dad is staying with me. I prefer work in the same city I live in. Okay. Um, well, I think that there's going to be jobs available to you in the same city, but it does feel like the two of you need a move. It looks like you guys need a change, some type of a change. Um, so maybe think about that a little bit. And because while there's jobs where you want to be, I just don't feel like it's gonna give you life. It just feels like it's heavy. Like there's heavy energy around all of this. um and sometimes if it's impossible for us to make a big move, like what I was talking about, it can be helpful to look for, I would say, maybe pockets within our city that feel like we're on vacation. Like there's a park near my house that I love, that I fortunately is not very far. So when I feel like I need a reset or a break, I just drive over there and walk around for a little bit or sit down on the grass, and sometimes that's enough to make me feel like, whew, okay, I'm better. So So yeah, so I would say just keep looking. Um, I do think you're going to get some type of a job. I'm getting about 6 weeks sometime next month, middle of next month. It might be a little bit sooner than that. I don't see it being a job that you're particularly happy with, but it feels more like something that you end up taking in the meantime while you look for something else. So there's opportunities opening up for you. I'm just not convinced that if you stay in your city that they're going to be jobs that you want, at least not for a while, but they're at least going to help you meet your needs. So so yeah. All right, friends. Well, that is it for today. Thank you, everyone, for joining me. It was a pleasure. And remember, if you would like a personal reading with me, you can visit my website, guidingechoes.com. If you are interested in expanding your psychic abilities and your intuition, I do offer psychic development group mentoring. I also do offer private mentoring if that's something you're into too. And again, you can get more information on that on my Guiding Echoes website at guidingechoes.com. All right, everyone. Thank you again for joining. Have a wonderful week. Have a great weekend, and I'll see you soon. Take care. Bye bye.